I haven't done anything. Nothing more than anybody else does. So he persisted, no, please tell me what have you been doing? So he said that nothing more than all the other Sahaba do, except I don't keep any spite or any hatred in my heart for any Muslim. Now here a very, very important point to make is that at that time, who were the Muslims? It wasn't the Mufassirin, it wasn't the Muhaddithin, it wasn't the general public that we have outside, nor was it you, nor was it me. It was the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, it was them that were the Muslims at that time. Hazrat Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu ta'ala, he was made worthy of being entered into Jannah because he held love in his heart for the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. He had purified his heart from spite and hatred for the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. This was his action. It wasn't his tahajjud. It wasn't his salah. It wasn't his recitation of the Quran. It was his heart being purified from the hatred and spite of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, which made him worthy of being entered into Jannah. My brothers, something very, very important to make note of is there are only two places. Either is Jannah or either is Jahannam. Those people that love the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they are going into Jannah. Those people that have spite and hatred, they have enmity in their hearts for the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. Like it is clear from this incident, those people are going to go into Jahannam. If we want Jannah, then we have to love the Sahaba. If we want Jahannam, then go hate and have spite in your hearts for the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. Wallahi, that person, his abode is only Jahannam. Carrying on, moving on. After Hazrat Sa'd radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he had embraced Islam. What had happened between him and his mother until the day of Qiyamah, it can never ever be forgotten. Allahu Akbar. What happened on that day? Hazrat Sa'd radiallahu ta'ala anhu's mother, she used such a method. She used such a method, wallahi, any son, it would have conquered the heart of any son. What she had done is she had announced abstention from food and from drink until Hazrat Sa'd radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he returns back to the religion of his forefathers. And she actually carried out this hunger strike until she was almost near to death. Some of the relatives hoping that if we take Hazrat Sa'd radiallahu ta'ala, his heart will melt and he might return back to the religion of his forefathers. They went to him and they approached him, they begged him and they brought him in front of his mother. Allahu Akbar. You know the scene, it was emotional. It was so emotional. You know, rocks would have crumbled, metal would have melted. But Allahu Akbar, you know, on that day, Hazrat Sa'd radiallahu ta'ala, he proved to Allah and his Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that my iman is stronger than the rocks of mountains and the metal and iron. Allahu Akbar, he goes inside to the quarters of his mother. He goes and he approaches his mother. He sees his mother laying down. She's very close, she's almost near to death. And he says to her, "Oh mother." You know, these are words to be written in gold. He says to her, "Oh mother, if you had 100 souls coming out of you, one after the other, even then I wouldn't abandon the religion of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you want to eat, eat. And if you don't want to eat, don't eat." Saying this, he walked out. Witnessing such iman, such solid and such firm, such steadfast iman, even the mother of Hazrat Sa'd radiallahu ta'ala, she embraced Islam. Allahu Akbar. One day, in the time of the Khilafat of Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala, the Battle of Al-Jisar, 4,000 Muslims were martyred in one day in this battle of the Battle of Al-Jisar. This was in the time of Hazrat Umar's Khilafat. Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala, he was very worried about this. He was shaken. So he decided that he himself is going to lead the Muslims in a fight against the Persians. Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala, he gathered all the army together and they left Medina. As they were just leaving Medina, some of the Muslims, some of the Akabir Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they advised Amir al-Mu'mineen Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala that it would be wiser for you, O Amir, that you go back to Medina and you put somebody else in your place. Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala, he got everybody once again together. They performed salah in congregation, and after this, a public consultation took place. And the decision was made, they came to a decision that Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala, he has to go back to Medina, and somebody else is going to be put in his place. The question was, who was fit to take the place of Hazrat Umar? Amirul Mu'mineen, Umar ibn al-Khattab, who was fit to take his place? All the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they're silent and they're thinking. Abdul Rahman ibn Auf radiallahu ta'ala, he raises his hand and he says, oh Amirul Mu'mineen, I found him, I found him. Hazrat Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala, he asks, who is he? He says, the lion's claw. This is what they would call Hazrat Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu ta'ala, the lion's claw. Allahu Akbar, look at the trust and the faith that Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala and he had in his heart for Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. Without any sort of hesitation, he hands over the flag to Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu ta'ala, and like a lion, he sets him free against the Persians. On that day, there was 100,000 Persians, armed to the teeth, equipped with weapons that earth had not witnessed, against 30,000 Muslims who were equipped only with spears. But Allahu Akbar, these Muslims, their hearts were full of iman and longing aspiration for shahadat, for martyrdom in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hazrat Sa'd radiallahu ta'ala, every single day, he didn't make a single move without consultation with Amirul Mu'mineen Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala, who was in al-Madinatul Munawwarah. Every single day he would send him a letter describing to him the preparations that they have made for the war, and all the preparations that they have made and the progress that they have made in this war as they were going along. Every single day he would send a letter to Amirul Mu'mineen Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala. The power that was handed over to him, he wasn't deluded, nor was he arrogant because of the leadership that was given to him. His self-esteem, it didn't tempt him on relying on his own capacities. Rather, in every single decision that he would have to make, he would refer back to Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala, and he would take his advice. Anyway, before the war, Hazrat Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu ta'ala, he fell ill and his whole body was covered with abscesses. From top to bottom he was bleeding. It was so bad he couldn't even stand, nor could he sit. But his words, which meant that he couldn't take part in the war, but his words, Allahu Akbar, they lifted the morale of the soldiers, so much so that the way these soldiers fought, they had never ever fought before. Before the fight begins, Hazrat Sa'd radiallahu ta'ala, he gives a speech to the Sahaba and the Tabi'een that were present there. He reminds them of the rewards that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has promised them. He reminds them of the limits that the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has set for war, and made sure that they do not transgress these limits. He reminds them of the ayat, Inna Allah ashtara min al-mu'minina anfusahum wa amwalahum bi anna lahum al-jannah, that the believers, they have sold their souls to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in exchange of Jannah. Hearing this, Allahu Akbar, the morale of the soldiers is being lifted. Zuhr Salah, it takes place. And in the battlefield, after the Salah of Zuhr, Hazrat Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu ta'ala, in this state, being very, very extremely ill, he comes out. He comes out and he proclaims the takbir in front of all the mujahideen. Allahu Akbar, you can just imagine, how the scene must have been, how these people, how their iman must have just shot up. Allahu Akbar. So, after proclaiming the takbir, which was heard all over the battlefield, the mujahideen, they got started into war. Hazrat Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu ta'ala, he moved back and he watched the war. Cutting the story short, the Persians, they fell like flies. The Muslims, they fought until they bought the crown and the throne of the emperor. They bought it back as booty of war. Just moving on, just before the demise of Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala, Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala, he had selected 6 people who were responsible to choose the next Khalif after Hazrat Umar. Hazrat Sa'd, and when he chose these people, he said that I have chosen 6 people with whom the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was pleased with before he had died. When the Rasul of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is pleased with someone, then Allah is pleased. And when Allah and His Rasul are pleased with someone, then the whole world can be on one side. But this, it will not affect Hazrat Sa'd radiallahu ta'ala. He was amongst those 6 people the Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said about them that Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam are pleased with these people. One of the other things that he had added was, he said that if Hazrat Sa'd was to become the Khalif, then this would be good. And if Hazrat Sa'd does not become the Khalif, then it would be good for the person who becomes a Khalif that he takes mashwara, that he consults and he takes help of Hazrat Sa'd radiallahu ta'ala. It just shows how much trust and how much faith Amir al-Mu'mineen Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala and he had in his heart for someone like Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu ta'ala. Just the final thing, his death. His son, he says that my father's head was on my lap and I began crying. So he said to me that, oh son, why are you crying? What makes you cry? I swear by Allah that Allah will never punish me. I belong in Jannah. Look at the yaqeen, look at the belief that he is saying it with. He's saying that I swear by Allah, Allah will not punish me. I belong in Jannah. Then he pointed towards a box and he said, give me the box. The box was bought. When the box was opened, the only thing that was in the box was a torn, worn out garment. The garment was taken out. And he made wasiyat and he said, that after I die, I want to be shrouded in this garment. Because this is the garment that I had wore on the battle of Uhud when I faced the disbelievers in war. It was 54 years after the hijrah of the Prophet ﷺ that he had passed away in his house in Al-Aqiq. That's, inshallah, we just want to finish there. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala once again put the love of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum in my heart, in your hearts, in the hearts of every person who claims to be a Muslim. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raise us on the day of Qiyamah with all the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, especially somebody like Hazrat Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu ta'ala. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.